All right, let's dive into a dating pattern that's as common as it is confusing. One of those things that can leave you completely baffled by your own emotions. So, this is the big question, right? You've been thinking about them constantly, you're replaying every little conversation, analyzing every single text, the attraction feels huge, and then, just like that, it vanishes. So, let's figure out what's really going on here. This right here, this is that emotional whiplash we're talking about. One minute, they're the center of your universe, all because they feel just a little bit out of reach. The next minute, they admit they feel the same way, and suddenly, that magnetic pull is just gone. It's so frustrating. And honestly, it can make you feel like, wait, is something wrong with me? Look, if any of this is hitting home for you, just stay with me. I promise you are so not alone in this, and there's a really clear psychological reason behind it all. We're gonna break it down so it finally makes sense. Okay, first things first, we have to get into a fundamental idea about desire. See, it's not always just about the person. A lot of the time, it's actually about the circumstances. So, the key thing here is that this really intense feeling, what we often call lust or infatuation, it literally feeds on the unknown. It thrives on distance, on mystery. It's that space between you and them, all the things you don't know yet, that really fuels the fire. So when that distance disappears, well, the fuel source gets cut right off. But there's an even deeper reason this happens. Okay, this is where it gets really personal. We're going to explore how this chase becomes something much more than simple attraction. A lot of the time, the chase is more like a mission, and the target isn't who you think it is. Just let that sink in for a second. This idea kind of reframes everything, doesn't it? The pursuit of that distant person, it's not really about connecting with them. It's about trying to prove something to yourself. It's this deep, unconscious attempt to fix that old feeling of, am I good enough? Seriously, think about it like this. If you can win over this impossible person, the one who seems so unattainable, then that victory must mean you're worthy, right? That you're valuable? The person basically becomes a mirror, and you're chasing their validation just so you can see a better reflection of yourself. And this brings us to the exact moment the switch flips. It's the collision, the crash between the fantasy you've built up and the reality of who they are. It's the point where the movie playing in your head suddenly meets the actual person standing in front of you. Okay, look at this. This lays it out perfectly. You're basically operating in two completely different worlds. On one side, you've got the fantasy chase. It's a safe, ego-boosting quest for this perfect, distant idea. But then you look at the other side. That's real connection. And that's not a challenge you can win. It's about being vulnerable, unguarded. It's messy, imperfect, and, well, it's real. And that's the critical moment. The second they like you back, the game is over. The impossible challenge is suddenly possible, and the whole fantasy just collapses. You're left with the prospect of actual intimacy, and your ego, which was so invested in the chase, is terrified of being seen in this real, unguarded way. So it pulls the emergency brake and kills the attraction. So, how in the world do you break this cycle? Well, it all starts by shifting your goal from trying to win a prize to trying to build a partnership. It's about learning to embrace the messy reality of connection. So here's the way forward. First, just recognize when you're doing it. Seriously, awareness is everything. Second, make a conscious choice to stop chasing people who are emotionally unavailable or distant. You know, the ones who feel like a challenge. And third, practice staying present and meeting someone where they actually are, flaws and all, not where your fantasy wants them to be. Ultimately, this whole journey is about turning your focus inward. The validation you're looking for, it can't come from conquering someone else. True healing happens when you accept your own worth. And then you can finally approach others not as a challenge to overcome, but as a person to connect with. So this is the question to leave you with. Are you ready to shift from that short-lived thrill of the chase to the possibility of something real and lasting? Now that you understand the pattern, the choice is yours.